Welcome back to Tiny Teeth Talk. Ever build a flawless occlusion only to watch a child's natural growth completely ruin your result a few years later? You aren't alone. Dr. Charles Tweed proved that dental mechanics cannot fight hostile biology. By superimposing serial cephalograms at sella along the sella-nasion plane, he mapped out three distinct facial growth trends type A, B, and C. Let's break them down so you are never blindsided by a growth relapse again. First up, type A. This is our balanced, symmetrical gold standard seen in over 25% of kids. Both the maxilla and mandible grow downward and forward in a perfect harmony. Because they are moved at the exact same rate, the A and B angle stays completely constant over time. If it's a class 1 profile with the A and B under 4.5 degree, then no interceptive growth modification needed. But watch out for the type A subdivision. The growth is still symmetrical, but the maxilla starts out severely protruding, pushing the A and B past 4.5 degree. Then drop in a headgear or modern bone anchored skeletal restriction to hold that maxilla back so the mandible can catch up. The prognosis here highly favorable. Now type B, literally an orthodontist's worst nightmare. In this trend, the maxilla aggressively outspace the mandible horizontally. Worse yet, takes as a subdivision means the child's face is growing downward rather than forward, and this forces the mandible rotate downward and backward instead of moving forward. Look at the tracking. The A and B gap actually increases with age. Point B will never catch up the point A on its own. Type B carries a very poor prognosis and demands absolute vertical dimension control. You are fighting nature, so bring out the heavy artillery like high pull headgear and temporary anchorage device. Finally, type C, the mandibular dominant vector. Here the lower jaw races forward and much faster than the upper jaw, causing the A and B angle to progressively drop. If you are trying to fix a skeleton class 2, this vector is your best friend, but don't get careless because type C subdivision hold a massive trap. As a lower jaw shoots forward, lower incisors slams back into the upper incisor. This constant collision forces the brutal dentoalveolar compensation. The lower incisor tip lingually and crowd horribly while the upper flats out labially. To counter this class 3 vector, you'll need a reverse pull face mask or bone anchored class 3 elastics. There is a Twit's golden rule for type C, which is mandatory retention. That lower jaw will keep growing long after your wires are off. To prevent a lower arch collapse, a mandibular canine to canine bonded retainer is non-negotiable until growth completely stops. See you next time.